Hi, salam. Good morning. My name is Burhan. I've decided to record this short video clip. It is concerning what's going on with the Somalis in America. I've seen a number of video clips that's been going viral on your social media, where Donald Trump has been saying nasty stuff about Somalis and basically trying to degrade the Somalis and calling them garbage and trash and all sorts of stuff. Also insulting the country that they are from. So why am I recording this short video clip? The reason being is because of the fact that I think a lot of people who might be watching Donald Trump's videos regarding how he's basically saying nasty stuff about Somalis do not really know much about Somalis and Somalia. Or they're probably being misinformed about what Somalia is all about. Or maybe they have watched things that are very negative about Somalis, such as things like piracy and terrorism and lawlessness and all sorts of issues, all sorts of like terrible negative stuff about Somalia. Okay, some of the stuff might be true. Some of the stuff are exaggerated and are baseless. All right, so let's just tackle the things that I think are just being made up or being basically purposely defaming Somalis. Or what's Somalis and who's Somali? What Somalia is? Who are the Somalis? And what Somalia is all about? What are Somalis known for? So, just a brief history of what Somalia is. Brief history of Somalia. Somalia is a country that lies in the eastern coast of African continent. Somalia has got the longest coastline, I think, after Madagascar. It sits on two oceans. Like, it sits on the Indian Ocean. On the entire, like, the vast majority of the country actually sits on the Indian Ocean. And to the north, all the way to the northwest, we sit on the Red Sea, which is one of the most contested waters in today's world. And Somalia used to be one of the prosperous countries that existed in the African continent. And Somalia was one of the countries in Africa where the first ever president in Somalia was democratically elected, while the rest of the country democracy wasn't even known in the African continent then, in the 60s, I think in the 1960s. So the country was taken over by a military dictator. There's a lot of stuff that's been improved ever since he became into power. Roads were built, vast majority of the country, because Somalia just gained its independence in 60s and 61, around that region, around those days. So a lot of roads were paved, a lot of infrastructure were built, and so much good stuff basically happened ever since then. One of the biggest mistakes that the president then made was the fact that he actually invaded Ethiopia, which is to our neighboring country to the west. And then what happened since then? The entire of the West, basically they just armed the rebels, through Ethiopia, and the country was eventually broken into pieces. Like, the country, basically the government was toppled and the country fell into chaos. And what happened since then? A lot of Somalis, because of the fact that the country became unsafe for a lot of people to live in. A lot of people fled the country to wherever possible they could have gone. Like, some of them went to the UK, all across the globe. But that's the brief history of Somalia and what it's all about. That's regarding the politics side of Somalia and its independency, and like how the government that existed fell into chaos and the country has turned into lawlessness. So what happens then? The borders became unprotected. Our airspace being used by whomever wishes to use our airspace, and the vast ocean, the vast coastlines have become ungoverned. So our country's been exploited. So in terms of that's the negative side of Somalia and its politics. So in terms of resource, in terms of what Somalia is all about, let's just talk about that. Somalis are the most skillful people, and they're very entrepreneurial, and wherever they go, they transform the environments, and they transform the local communities. They establish businesses. And one good example would be Kenya. Look what's happening in Kenya. Vast majority of the businesses that are owned by Somalis in Kenya. Somalis are not the people that just like to sit back and just do nothing. Somalis like to contribute to the society, and they like to basically to be independent financially, and not to basically just lay back and to be meaningless. You know what I'm saying? So that's the kind of people Somalis are. They're very driven, very entrepreneurial. They like to be independent. They don't like to be bossed around. They kind of like, and I think that stems from the nomadic lifestyle, because the nomadic people, they tend to travel. They tend to be independent. They don't just sit in one place. They like to explore. They're very entrepreneurial. Somalis are very entrepreneurial. That's what I'm trying to say. Not the nomadic people. Nomadic people, they're very caring. They're very conservative, and they look one after another. But they like to explore. They like to take the pasture land. They take the animals to wherever there is a rain. They just follow the rain cloud, basically, in other words. And in terms of the resource, Somalia has got the longest coastline, and all of Somalis can literally live on what comes up from the sea. Longest coast, I think it's about 3,000 plus kilometers of coast. One of the most beautiful sandy beaches. Some of the places that I've been to, one would think, I mean, if not informed, like some of the areas that I've been to will probably be one of the best holiday destinations in the world, like Maldives. Pure sandy beaches where rivers join the sea. An area called Gobwain, an area called Ail in east central Somalia, and far remote areas in northwest and southeastern Somalia. Beautiful place in terms of beauty, so that is nothing resembles hell, because Donald Trump says that this country is a shithole and it's hell on earth. There's no such thing. Beautiful coastal beaches and sandy beaches and rivers and the longest coasts and all sorts of stuff that exists in Somalia doesn't really resemble anything to do with hell. So he's chatting rubbish about that bit. And well, he's chatting shit anyways. Somalia is not a place where it can be considered hell. And agriculture, when it comes to the agriculture, one of the world's biggest livestock exporter is Somalia. We've got the biggest, we feed the entire of the Middle East, like especially the Gulf countries. The goats and all types of animals that we export from Somalia are actually the ones that are feeding the Middle Eastern countries, such as like all the countries, like especially Eid, during the Eid times, all the goats and all the animals that we export from Somalia are the ones that are actually feeding the people of the Middle East, especially the rich countries in the Middle East. So that's the livestock side of things. When it comes to the land and its fertility, like the Somali land is absolutely fertile. It is so fertile, and Somalia was known to be one of the biggest banana exports in the world. I think after Brazil, it used to be Somalia, I think. And Somalis love to live in the country. We love our country, and it's not a place that we are run away from. We love our country, and we would love to see our country turn into a prosperous nation. And every single Somali that you find wherever they are in the world, they are proud of they're proud of who they are. They're proud of being Somali, and they're proud, and they have got the dream of going back. Every single one of us have got the dream of going back, establishing something good back in Somalia. And they just wait for the situation to get better in Somalia. And I think we are to be blamed as Somalis. And those that are studied abroad and those that are not in the country, we have experienced what life is like outside the country. And I think every single Somali who is outside the country, including those people that are being chased around, are being mocked around, are being just insulted in what do you call it, in America, I think also us, it is our responsibility to make a change in Somalia and to make it a better place. We can, and it is possible. Unfortunately, our country is being robbed from us. Who is being robbed from us? By politicians. The reason why things are not improving is because we have got puppets. We've got terrible leaders that are just destroying the country, that are basically looting buying houses and all sorts of stuff abroad, putting nothing back into the country, giving nothing back into the people and into the land, not improving anything. So I think Somali people, we deserve better. And I think it is up to us Somalis to make a massive change and to make a country that is that we can be proud of, that the world can see to be a better place where everyone can. Somalia used to be one of the top holiday destinations during the peaceful times, before all these chaotic situations came about. So we've got the hope to just make things better in life, and just with the will of God, with the will of Allah, we'll make things would get better. So that's brief history about Somalia. I'm not very eloquent, so I haven't actually put my message across to you very eloquently, but I hope you get the sense of what I'm trying to say, and I hope that those of you who watch nasty stuff that come up Donald Trump's mouth, you just do your own independent research and just find out what Somalis are about, what Somalia is all about, the history of Somalia, what do they have, what don't they have. You know what I'm saying? So peace. Thank you guys. Bye now.